Whenever you're ready, we can go ahead and begin.
I'm ready.
Good.
How much can I push the human? How much can I consciously evolve the human body to do more, to do it better, to do it faster, to do it stronger? I just want to see how far I can push the human. My name is Sean Sarver. I'm a cybernetics engineer by want. I am a barber by trade. I want to see if I can't make the human evolve faster than what nature has allowed it to be.
You know, I say I've wanted to be a robot since I was a little boy, you know what I mean? And it's true, I've wanted to be a robot since I was a little boy, and it looks like I'm getting close.
I have a little magnet implanted in my pinky, and I've had it for almost 3 years now.
I was alerted to a discussion, and it basically says any kind of electromagnetic field, you'll be able to feel it. And I just thought, oh my goodness, how awesome would it be to see something, and to know the physical shape of something invisible to the naked eye.
So this is one strand, this is the other. When you open the DNA with temperature,
So we're going to do a simple DNA extraction, PCR, and running a gel with the gene for blood group to show we can just isolate that specific gene successfully.
I always say it's not rocket science.
Right.
It's biotech.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. These are called transfer pipettes. I'm Ellen Jorgensen. I'm president of GenSpace. I'm a molecular biologist. I mean, I was already involved in this, but this just became more and more all-consuming. GenSpace is, as far as we know, it's the only operating community biolaboratory in the United States. There are other labs that have started, but they weren't so aggressively community-oriented. They didn't teach classes and stuff like that. There have been labs that had the idea before us, namely BioCurious, for example, but by sheer bad luck on their part, they weren't able to actually open until just recently. Now they're open for business, and they're going to be quite great. We heard about this magical building on Flatbush Avenue that was owned by this ex-designer who was very interested in creating a community, a very vibrant community with a lot of different members from all different walks of life. And this building is just amazing. We have a writer's workshop, we have beekeepers, we have musicians, we have furniture makers, we have cupcake makers. And we've already done several joint projects with people from completely outside the biology field. And I think that's a real plus that sets us aside from a traditional lab also, is that we're right in the middle of all these different creative disciplines. And you never know where your next idea is going to come from. We also played host to the FBI this year. We hosted a conference between the FBI and DIY Bio. So agents in all the major cities and leading lights in the DIY bio field came together in New York for 2 days. We want them to know who we are, what we're doing, that we're not doing anything that they have any need to be concerned with. Unfortunately, it kind of backfired in that now they sort of get us involved in a lot of these conferences between DIY bio and law enforcement and homeland security. Obviously, if you work for a biotech company, then what you're working on has to be something that may be profitable. You can't work on something just for artistic reasons or for fun or because you're curious or because you've never done it before. Maybe it's been done a million times, but it's new to you and it's very exciting. So you can't get that in any other place, and there's no other lab that's going to open itself up to you except on special occasions. So that's why it's important, I think, to have these sorts of labs. And it promotes science literacy, which is so important, especially in the United States, when I feel like we're falling behind in STEM education. So the more people get their hands wet doing this sorts of thing, I think the better they'll be able to cope with all of the moral and social issues that this new technology is bringing up. The problem with the traditional lab is that they're tied towards results that are tied to either funding or profit. So if you're an academic, you're trying to get your next grant, you're working very hard, any materials that would be spent doing something public like this, unless there's specifically something that's in your grant that you have to reach out to the public, it's not in your best interest to do this. And what's great about GenSpace is I think it really speaks to what made most scientists scientists.
Nous vivons le siècle des biotechnologies, mais nous ne le savons pas. Pourquoi? Eh bien parce que quelques laboratoires privés monopolisent la recherche, monopolisent les applications scientifiques. De jeunes biologistes plus talentueux que la moyenne, si l'on peut dire, ont décidé d'agir à Paris ou encore à Renan, dans le pays de Vaud, en Suisse. Ces biohackers, comme on les appelle, ont fondé des laboratoires citoyens ouverts à tous, donc à vous également. Le temps pour moi de demander à Thomas Landrin ce qu'est un laboratoire citoyen.
Alors, un laboratoire citoyen, c'est un laboratoire, comme un autre finalement, mais la grosse différence, c'est qu'il est ouvert à tout le monde. Voilà. L'idée, c'est de dire qu'il n'y a pas de monopole pour les grandes idées et que finalement tout le monde peut être un porteur de projet et apporter une contribution technologique, voilà, conceptuelle même, en termes d'usage, sur comment peuvent être utilisées les technologies dans notre société. Donc pour ça, il fallait ouvrir à nouveau les portes du laboratoire à des gens autres que scientifiques, aux scientifiques aussi, mais les mélanger, voilà, mélanger tout ce grand monde afin qu'ils travaillent ensemble et qu'ils puissent s'appliquer en fait à inventer les futures technologies de demain.
Ouais, tiens, avant que j'oublie, vos proches, comment ils réagissent? Vos proches, j'entends bien scientifiques.
Il y a deux écoles, hein. Il y a ceux qui, pour le coup, trouvent ça extraordinaire et trouvent ça reste des scientifiques, ça reste que des personnes qui sont intéressées par la science, ils sont intéressés par être efficaces, ils sont intéressés en tout cas par avoir un impact. Et donc l'APS, pour eux, c'est une manière différente d'avoir un impact peut-être quelque part qu'ils auraient jamais pu avoir dans une classe, une partie du monde. Il y a une autre école qui, pour le coup, n'arrive pas encore à comprendre cette initiative tout à fait nouvelle. Et je pense que ça viendra.
Alors, la référence au hacking, disons-le tout de suite, n'a rien à voir à la piraterie. Elle est même trompeuse, donc, puisque ça révèle plus votre attachement au code de la contre-culture geek, si l'on peut dire. Rien d'illégal, donc.
makes us harder, better, faster, stronger. More than power, power, never. Ever after work is over. Work it, make it, do it, makes us harder, better, faster, stronger.
My name's Sean Frayne. I write Inventor when I go through customs. Yeah, this is about 1/2 of a complete solar pocket factory.
The other half didn't fit in the suitcase.
That we smuggled over into New York City, direct from Hong Kong and Manila.
That's where Sean's colleagues are based. They're self-identified independent inventors who team up to make stuff.
A bunch of people snap off little tiny pieces of the silicon and you combine them together. Each piece of silicon outputs around 1/2 volt. Light comes in, a photon dislodges an electron that hops to the other side of the solar cell. And then there's enough that jump over to the other side that there builds up almost an electrical pressure and voltage.
And voila, you have electricity.
Being biohackers, for me it's being a pioneer of humanity. You're here to test yourself. You're here to test new things, to innovate. You're here to not follow the ground space, but to take alternative ones. And the best way for you to do that is to reclaim what you already have, what's already yours. Thank you.
Well, what I thought was very interesting about your presentation, that it evoked two very different feelings in my heart. One was fear and one was hope.
All right.
Because biotechnology for me as a green, it is something dangerous. In the first place, I think, well, there's this big industry in there and they are doing all for profit. On the other hand, I thought it was very interesting that you presented an approach how people can reappropriate this technology and make it more democratic.
La paillasse, c'est avant tout une expérience. C'est l'expérience d'un laboratoire ouvert et communautaire, le premier en France, sur toutes les nouvelles technologies, et en particulier les biotechnologies. On est un espace de liberté pour les porteurs de projets. On considère qu'aujourd'hui, l'univers du laboratoire doit se réinventer. L'idée de la paillasse, c'est de pouvoir marier en fait toutes les disciplines ensemble. C'est maintenant qu'il faut agir, c'est maintenant qu'il faut agir ensemble, tous ensemble, pour inventer les futures technologies de demain.
Make it, do it, faster, makes it stronger.